Welcome back, boys and girls, to another episode of Beaux Happy Hour. As you can see, I'm not in my luxury penthouse apartment in beautiful New York City. No, I am currently in a shitty hotel in Africa, doing the Lord's work. And this is a Muslim country, so I don't have access to beer, so got the next best thing, a little bit of soda pop, a little Fanta, you know. One thing Muslims and Nazis had in common, they both love Fanta. That could be a great, tagline, I think. But anyway, I've got a great show for you today. I'm going to be talking to myself, no live studio audience of Little Joe or Sarah, the producer. So I'm just going to knock out a little bit of housekeeping just to see how things are rocking and rolling in my life. So step one, I'm working in Africa. I already talked about that, but I can't talk about the job, so I got to leave you hanging. All right, apartment situation in New York. Oh, yes. I got to talk about just New York. I've kind of outgrown it a little bit. Yeah, I outgrew the fucking best city in the world, in some degrees, It's like some people go there to be rich or famous or whatever it is. I don't know, but like big city people, they're all kind of the same people. And then like the city you live in is like the city you gravitate towards, so what you're known for. And so I'm shopping for new cities, throw out some comments or suggestions, but here's kind of the way I kind of see the industrial landscape for at least me, people who go to New York, you got your tech bros, not tech bros, you got your fucking finance bros. Sorry, tech bros is San Francisco. But you got your finance guys. You do have startups and shit, but that's kind of more low key. It is kind of a hipster mecca out in Greenpoint and Brooklyn and all that jazz. And then you also have the stage, And then another cool thing too about New York is there's so many. It's got your finger in each pie because there's the fashion industry and models and all that type of shit. But that's New York in the broad strokes, And then you got a city like Detroit, also known as Detroit, or I guess what's a sister city to Detroit? Oh, Paris, of course. And as Kanye said, there's niggas in Paris as there is in Detroit. So, the thing about Detroit is it's even though it's kind of a dead city, I don't even know what it's known for, how it's blossoming at this point. But it's people from a rough city like that, they tend to be I'm from Detroit, and if you're from in New York, it's I'm from the Bronx, Harlem, that type of shit, I think of I'm considering Miami because my old slave, he went down south, he went down river. Old Will Finnegan. So he's living in Miami. So it's got nice weather, just not in the summertime. There's a lot of Bitcoin industry. I like Miami because it's close. It's so close to America. It's just right there, But what else Miami has to offer is it's just the gateway to Latin America. It's the capital of, Latin America, at least from the Americans' perspective, because I'm sure the Latinas and Latinxes and Latinos or whatever you go by, will have something to say about that. And I got family in Miami because mi Boricua. So I'm kind of leaning into Miami a little bit. And then we got Austin. Austin is it's new San Francisco because there's a shit ton of homeless people and it's a bunch of tech people. But I like Austin because it's a gun-toting state, which another reason why Florida is on my list. And I also am technically, motherfucker, I am Florida man. Other cities of consideration, New Orleans. I got the part of my family that I actually talk to lives in New Orleans, which New Orleans is a city for losers. Because it's not quite Nashville, it's not quite LA. You go there to play blues, and I don't know exactly what else or rebuild. But it's for me, my fear of going to New Orleans is the fact that it's so lawless that I could only see myself getting involved in the criminal world. like but like I would be like a benevolent criminal, like a Robin Hood, but. Yeah, but I wouldn't be robbing fools, I might be like cleaning up the streets, Dirty Harry style, which brings us to San Francisco. San Francisco, I love the city, or I did. Although now from what I hear, it's just a fallen place, and I don't know, just California in general is just not, I think, a place for me. Unless it's like SoCal. I got so many friends in LA and Orange County and San Diego, of course, that I would love to go back, but it's fucking retarded expensive. Gun rights aren't exactly what they should be. So quite literally, big cities I'm considering is Miami is top of the list, and then of course there's always Philly. I love Philly. But you know what I don't love Philly is hella crime, and I would do a summer in Philadelphia, I think, because I'm a big baseball fan, so it would be fun to follow the Phillies for a season. But it's like if I'm gonna do a season, I would want to be like in a big like a downtown park, like your Wrigleyville in Chicago, or because like. Even staying in New York, the Mets are all the way out in fucking Queens, and I refuse to root for the Yankees, and they're in the Bronx. Like, that wouldn't be too different. You'd have to take like the 2 train up there. Wouldn't be a big deal, Lest I forget, the Northeast has a couple of gems that I want to check out. It's a city I've never been to, and my main reason for wanting to check out this city is because my daughter Nora lives out in Worcester, Mass. But no, not Worcester, Mass for me. I'm thinking more like Providence, Rhode Island. It's still kind of plugged in to the, like, whatever I had going on in New York. And, but it's close enough to my daughter, but still far enough away to where it's like the potential of friction between, with her beautiful mother and myself. It's not that. It's like I just don't want to get pulled too close into an orbit, So yeah, Providence is in the consideration, and Boston as well. Boston would be just because, Beantown. I've never really explored it to depth. I just spent like a day there or something like that. So it's like I got to check it out. So I think when I get back from Africa, I think I'm gonna explore a couple of these cities a little bit more deeply. But hey, comment where you think I should go, or throw out different options for me. I'll try anything twice. So, and also I like to explore new places. I remember once I went to Indianapolis, and that was surprisingly really cool because it had the same format as DC, and I had spent some time in DC, so I at least knew my way around the town. So, but yeah, Indianapolis is pretty rad. Truth be told, if I had to pick right now, gun to my head, I'm saying I'm Miami bound. What will I do with my apartment? Currently, I've got a friend from college. He's subletting, which is advantageous for me. And even if I were to stay in New York, though, if I were going to just stay in New York, I think I would do I'd have to move anyway. I like my place. It feels like my home. But at the same time, it's still in the same neighborhood as Columbia, and I've been there I feel like I gotta move on to the next stage. I'm 41 years old, about to be 42, and just hanging around my old college, wearing my shit. It seems like kind of like a regressive step, but and then of course, hey, I'm also down to get out of the fucking country if shit goes south. All right, so that's about it for the housekeeping. And now, it's going to just jump right into some serious shit because shit is wild. America moves. Oh, well, since I just did some sort of pan-America sort of, talk about different cities and such, I just think American culture is kind of on the decline by and large. And when I say that, I'm just thinking about shit like how movies. It's fucking sequels, race swap reboots, and just everything. Why does everything just suck so bad? You know what I'm saying? Like, and I don't know. I've got a little bit of a conspiracy theory that all the writers for television or in movies, like they're not writing for television and movie. They're writing for reality because reality is so fucked up and crazy. You would think it's like one thing happens, like it's just so insane. So, and also if all the TV writers are crafting the news lines, everybody thinks they're kind of living in these sort of the movie that we're living in, because it seems like there's so much going on, from war in Ukraine and fucking war in Israel and Gaza, fucking every war at home, you know. So I think that's part of the reason why people would be like more willing and apt to step up and do something fucking insane, like shoot a guy who was just trying to have conversations with other people. So now, yeah, let me talk about the whole Charlie Kirk thing, because it does play into what I was just saying, and just the state of America. It's like people try to blame one side or the other. The rhetoric is fucked, but without a doubt, Charlie Kirk was fucking murdered for just having an opinion, and his opinions were pretty milquetoast for the most part. I mean, I personally, prior to him dying, I didn't really know too much about him, because I mean, I'm not exactly his demographic he was trying to pull in. The youth is where it was at. And I always just saw him as like a Shabbos goy who shilled for Israel, and like just like owning the left type, Ben Shapiro type of shit. Like after Ben Shapiro aged out, they brought in this fucking dude to sort of like bolster the Republican Party and like just like shit on liberals. And I mean, from some of the actual things I watched about him, like his little debates and how he talked to people, he seemed, you know, treat people with respect and courtesy. And there was one like trans person he was talking to, and he was just like, I think it would be smarter for you to, or not smarter for, I don't know exactly how I phrased it, so whatever, I'm paraphrasing. He's like, I think it would be the best thing for you to learn how to be comfortable in your own body. And you know what? I feel that 100%, because I mean, one, I was always attracted to tomboys as a kid growing up, and I would still date a bulldog lesbian if they were into me. So it's just an idea, like just learn how to be comfortable in your body. What's that whole thing about body positivity? It's like Ozempic is killing off all the fats. And, you know, I think mutilating your body is just, I mean, I say this with tattoos and stuff, but like mutilating your body is just not going to be helpful for you long term. And I don't even want to think about the surgeries and stuff like that. It's just like, it's the stuff of nightmares. But, you know, I truly do feel bad for people who have body dysmorphia to that sort of world, because it's like not being able to wake up and see yourself the way you want to be seen. But there's also a social contagion about everything. Like when I was a kid, girls like to cut themselves, you know, and now it's like, who's most affected by this whole wave of things? I'm not saying that body dysmorphia is not a real true thing, but like young women are getting their breasts cut off. And my mom even told me, because she was a tomboy when she was a kid, and maybe that's where the link is, some sort of Oedipus complex to tomboys or something, because my mom used to play baseball with me when I was young. Anyway, and she was saying, like, if she had grown up in today's world, she was afraid of things, but until she actually went through puberty, she learned how to like embrace, or because she was attracted to boys until she hit puberty. So then it was like, oh my God, thank God I didn't grow up in time now. And so I mean, I've got nothing but and one other thing about that, like, I mean, I've got nothing but like sympathy for the people who are really going through it, and the people who are being told they should do it. But also, what was I going to say? Fuck, I lost it for a second. Yeah, the people who are actually just trying to get by day to day, living as the other sex before it became a big whole deal. It's like they were so small, and now they're getting thrust into the limelight by people who are just using them, which now that kind of circles into my other thing I wanted to say about the whole sadness of Charlie Kirk's passing. the only thing that I found the people who celebrated his death to be absolutely fucking disgusting. I mean, all those people should be shamed. They should be like, I want to know who they are, because I would not want my kids to go to school having them be the teacher. If I found out they were cooking my food, I wouldn't want to eat there. Like, it's like to celebrate with such joyousness at the death of a fucking young man like that it speaks to the moral rot that exists within our country today. And that just makes me sad. But then, that's like my real critique of the left about his death. But on the right, the fact that they fucking had some WWE event, or I really, WWF is how I grew up, but anyway, some wrestling event where his parents didn't speak, none of his people he grew up with. It was just a political rally. And there's nothing, like for me, my religion is very personal to me. I share it with whoever, wants to listen, and I try to teach people with my actions. Some of them. I'm obviously not all my actions are good, but I'm a sinner. I'm a lapsed Catholic, I guess you could say. But yeah, trying to use my faith or wear the cloak of Christianity to push a political ideology is just absolutely fucking disgusting. I mean, we live in this world, but we're not supposed to be of this world. I got a whole kingdom and a new body to go to after I get done fucking piloting this meat suit into the ground. But yeah, so shame on any of the Republicans who were trying to fucking, gerrymander Christianity into their fucking politics. Because, I mean, truth be told, I've got a shit ton of family members who are like blue dog Democrats, who are great Christians. And I mean, probably the most Christ-like man I've ever met in my life is my dad's best friend, Andy Crickham, and he's Jewish, and I've never met, on this earthly plane, a more gentle and loving soul. So that's that. Yeah, so shame on the fucking left for cheering his death. Shame on the right for trying to fucking capitalize on it, left, right, or center. And shame on anybody who fucking wants to cheer on violence and sow discontent to our country and our fucking fellow citizens, or just around the world. I mean, boo. All right. Speaking of violence and discontent, I've got I'm going to give a quick take on the war in Russia, because I haven't done this show in a while, and I might as well fucking talk about it. But it seems as though the Ukrainians, as valiantly as they fought, this war is not going to go in their actual direction. Now, in the interview I did with Gavin McGinnis back in 2023, I had long stated, or initially believed, that the reason why the West was pushing for this war is because Russia is an ethno-state, much like Israel. And I'm not comparing to beyond that. Just like they're, to be Russia is Russian is to be, ethnically Russian. And the Russians are and the conservatives right in Europe are all ethno-nationalist types, like AfD, Auf Deutschland. And then you got like the Marine Le Pen's party, I think the National Front, and I forget what it is in Austria. But either way, like all the conservatives in Europe are like ethno-nationalists. And an odd twist of fate, the globalist Ukrainians are like run by, like, from what I understand, the neo-Nazis with the Azov battalion. So I think Russia, they've kind of held back in this war, because if they had just gone after Kiev or however the fuck it's saying nowadays, it would have pushed America into the war, or just the West, even though Ukraine's not in NATO. But the fucking Europeans don't have a fucking a true fighting force that could rival a bigger state like that. And also, besides the fact, with all this mass migration shit that they've been knocking around, like, if I was fucking Hans or fucking Tommy or Jacques, why the fuck would I go fight and die in Ukraine when I'm leaving fucking wife, mother, sisters, daughters behind with a bunch of fucking Mohammeds. So there is no true will to fight in the West against the Russians. Most of the fucking Western nations are having absolute turmoil within their own streets because they've allowed somebody opened up the gates of Toledo and allowed all these fucking Mohammeds to come in, and which is why there's such chaos out there in London, in Paris. It's like they've lost a war. There's so much disarray. So you think you're going to galvanize the youth of Europe to go fight and die? How connected when you were raised on a diet of hating yourself. We colonized the world, we deserve this. It's like, that's not gonna, you can't, inspiring a will to fight is crucial to win a war. And when I look at America currently, it's like the way we're so divided over our own sort of, not just immigration and all the shit that's going on with ICE, like there ain't no way we'd be able to move enough men and manpower out over to fucking Russia to win a fight either. And it's like, because we're not sending over ships with tens of thousands of dudes on, or even flying planes over there. They'll all get shot the fuck out of the sky. So it's like, we really don't have a will to win or fight either war. So let's just stay the fuck out of it. If anything, if it was the way I try to do a peace deal is the regions that have been in conflict or under contention, I think they call them obelisks in Russia, Ukraine, allow them to vote like Crimea did however long ago, like Luhansk and whatever those other ones are called. Just like, the people are living there. Do you want to be a part of Russia? Do you want to be a part of Ukraine? Third option is you could fucking start your own, micro state. Maybe big. They'd still be bigger than fucking Monaco or, capital of Liechtenstein. But be like Texas being its own thing. Same thing with America. Fuck it. Let's us break apart, because there's swaths of this country that I think we're already balkanized to a point to where there's not really a cohesive society. At least before, like America used to have like really distinct cultures in the South and the North, out West, Texas, mountain men and shit like that all came together under the singular idea of America. Today, that's not so much the case. Once they started pushing that racial politics shit in there, it's weird. Like the flattening of society by making everybody able to get on the internet and fucking spit their bullshit opinions like I am now. It's ripped culture out. Diversity's bullshit, because once again, it's to kill the dominant culture and just make everything the fucking same, which is kind of boring and gross. But I'm not going to beat that dead horse for too long. I mean, I'm also just rambling to myself in a hotel in Africa. It's not Hotel Rwanda, so get that out of your head, but I'm somewhere. But it also made me think about something. Staying on the whole line of immigration, I saw something on the news. I read it on the internet, which that's the news nowadays. I hate to break it to you there, fucking Anderson Cooper or whatever. But I saw a headline that said, like, guy picks up a crew of Mexican workers, works them for the week, and on Friday, he calls ICE to arrest them. So that way he gets out of paying them, and he got like a free things of work for him. Now, I saw this as it's either rage bait, or it's like rage bait for the left, or like gooner bait for the right, like ha ha ha, we got one over on him. But for me, I try to think of like, it's a ethical question. The ethical question of it is, because at its core, for me, and I tried to see both sides, really try to like fight it out in my head, strong Iron Man both sides. Because like from like the right perspective, one could say something like, like they're already using our infrastructure, they're here illegally, blah blah blah, and the left could say, or the more open-minded, open-hearted people, like they still came there, did the job. It's like, and then like, I don't know, my personal opinion is, if you worked them for a week, if you paid them and then kicked them out, that's fair, because you are helping with getting people out. Is it still kind of heartless? Yes. But if they're not supposed to be there and you're trying, like, if you see them as an invading force potentially, then yeah. But if you paid them first, that would be cool. And then the right might say something like, well, they're already taking advantage of all these other options, especially if they're getting like housing or welfare or whatever it may be, driver's license. It's like, isn't that their payment? They've been sucking off our system and not paying into it because they've been working under the table and undercutting jobs and blah, 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 blah. I mean, I live my life where I am accountable for my actions, how I live. I'm not going to stop pollution, and I don't want to say global warming because I think that's a scam. But I know that I recycle. I pick up trash. I live the life, like if you can't, like Jordan Peterson said, like, if you can't keep your room clean, who are you to change the fucking world? It's like, I also have to be accountable to my own face in the mirror. So I would say this, if the guy picked them up and asked them, are you here legally? And they said no, okay, we'll sign them up for a week. So if they lie in the beginning, then and then they get picked up and shipped off because they weren't here legally, they lied to get the job. And lying to get the job there's an element of deception right there, regardless of how you cross the border. Because I kind of have a bigger heart. I mean, I just feel bad for anybody with a family and all that type of stuff. But at the end of the day, it's like, if all the illegals left tomorrow, housing prices would drop, salaries would go up. And it's like, oh, they're doing the work that you don't want to do. It's like, well, if you paid somebody $100 an hour to pick fucking strawberries, there'd be a lot of motherfuckers trying to pick strawberries. Now, obviously, I'm being hyperbolic with the price inflation and all that jazz, but I don't know. I don't want to live in a fucking country without borders. And if we ended up fracturing as a nation and say Texas was like, all right, we're going to keep a hard border, I'm moving to fucking Texas. My own sort of, I was born in 83. I grew up in the 90s. That was a great time to be alive and to be an American. I'd like to go back to that. And if I can't find it here, I'll find it somewhere. So that's my little ethical question. Before I go, I guess, let me check the mailbag and see what's going on. I'm not as loud and bombastic because these walls are kind of thin, and I don't want anybody banging on my fucking door. Now I have to go grab the AK, and then it's not a good day anymore, huh? So let's see, mailbox. Let's check the mail. Fudge. All right. Open the right one. All right. Hey, mail into the show. Beaux, HH, BEAUXS, HH @gmail.com. All right. Or just leave any sort of comments on the video, and I'll go back to it that way. All right. So I got something in the mailbag. I got a message from KAL. Hey, Beaux, I saw your latest video. I was curious about your trip to Israel, as I don't trust any news sources regarding the Israel-Gaza conflict, and it would be nice to hear from someone who has on-the-ground experience. Do you think the Israelis are going too hard in Gaza, or that it's a necessary, appropriate evil based on the circumstances? Well, KAL, I don't know how much I touched Israel in the last video, but I will say this: the war is fucking hell and horrible, and it just fucking sucks. And I do believe that, like, here's the questions I really have is, one, to enter Gaza was like entering Jurassic Park. There was these big fucking metal doors, like electric doors that opened up for me to get in and out of the motherfucker. And there's a base all over, like right over by where the kibbutz was that got fucking attacked. So, and now there's a lot of people saying there was stand down orders. I truly believe there probably was, but I can't say for sure. And it was weird because when I first got to Gaza, the fucking Palestinians were like, God bless America, Trump's the man, which is kind of counterintuitive, because when he was coming in, he had got the peace deal going, and then it slowly broke down over time. I know that the guys I worked with while we were there, we all just wanted there to be peace. Nobody I worked with fired our weapons once, and we were not attacked by any Palestinians. I did, however, see the Israelis use drones towards the end of our stay there, and once the peace deal totally took a shit, and they pulled us out, and I got sent back to the States. To be honest, I think with the Israelis, with their ability to be such proficient intel agency with the Mossad, from the pager deals to everything else, it's hard to believe they couldn't have had a more precise attack. I mean, what the fuck does my opinion matter to anybody? But if I'm going to be honest, I think the Israelis really they went ham, and they fucking leveled it. If you're saying they were hiding behind schools and under mosques, you're saying everything was a fucking school or a mosque. And everything I've heard, but I don't know what the fuck's true or not in terms of about what's being said. But from what I understand, Benjamin Netanyahu funded Hamas because he controlled the height of the flame, I think was what it was said. But I just, the sheer level of destruction it's like Terminator 2 Judgment Day, where I didn't see one standing building. It was just totally flattened. To say that the Israelis didn't wage war on the entire Palestinian people I wouldn't say that's what they did. And it's really just fucking sad. And, it's my opinion. My opinion doesn't really fucking matter, and I have friends who are in the IDF, and I have friends who serve in the IDF. So it's war is hell. But I'll tell you this: if I was Israeli, I probably would have been fucking cool with it. It's like if with my own heritage, it's easy to say. I can't really speak too much on genocide without being the pot calling the kettle something. So that's just unchecked humanity. But I think that I can't control what the Israelis do, but I can control what my government does. I can't control what my government does either, but I think now that there's some sort of peace deal that hopefully holds and people can move forward and be in a working fellowship of nations, good neighbors and all. If there's investigations and things, if the people who ordered bad stuff get brought to justice, I guess you have to have hope in the international bodies. And if they prove to be totally bunk or one-sided, or certain people get away with nonsense, then it kind of makes you rethink the international order in and of itself. And with that, I'll leave it at that. Thank you for tuning in. I can't promise I'll be more bombastic or more fun or even give you a longer bit of content, but I can promise I will try to tune in next week. Same Beaux time, same Beaux channel videos. Either way, have a beautiful day. God bless you. And happy Halloween.